Yo YouTube, I know I'm a bit late, but I finally decided to pick up the GameSir G7 Pro 8K. By now there are probably a million videos covering the ins and outs of this controller, so I'm not going to go into extensive detail about the specs. The main point of this video is to show how it performs in games, specifically FPS games, and then I'll share my thoughts at the end. So let's start off with the obvious. The GameSir G7 Pro 8K comes with an 8K polling rate, and for those who don't know what that means, it basically translates to lower latency and a more responsive feel. Most third-party controllers top out at a 1K polling rate, which makes the G7 Pro 8K one of the few controllers that can actually push 8K. To help visualize the difference, here's a screenshot I grabbed straight from the GameSir website comparing 1K and 8K polling rates. Next are the sticks. The G7 Pro 8K features Gen 2 Mag Res TMR sticks, which are designed to eliminate stick drift while also providing better precision than traditional analog sticks or even Hall effect sticks. It also comes with 4 remappable buttons, 2 on the top and 2 on the back of the controller, along with swappable D-pads, Hall effect triggers with trigger stops, gyro support, and finally micro switch face buttons that give you that crisp mouse click feeling. And that's pretty much it for the important features. Before I get into the software, I want to share something pretty cool that I found out. If you own a FlyDiggy controller with removable thumbsticks, you can actually take those sticks and use them on the G7 Pro. Now moving on to the GameSir Connect app. There are a ton of settings I could go over, but I'll be making a dedicated video covering them in more detail. For now, I'm just going to focus on the main features. When you first load up GameSir Connect, you'll see a set of quick settings. Let's start with report rate. This is where you can change your polling rate, ranging from 250 Hz all the way up to 8,000 Hz. Next, you have your stick settings, where you can adjust your dead zones and anti-dead zones. Then, in the bottom right, you have your button mapping section, where you can remap your controls. If you want to dive deeper into a specific setting, just click on it. For example, under the stick settings, you'll still find your dead zones and anti-dead zones. But you'll also see a setting called stick trajectory, which lets you choose between circle and raw input. At the bottom, you also have the bit setting, which ranges from 8-bit to 12-bit. Again, I won't go too deep into what every setting does since I plan on making a separate video about that, but I do recommend setting your sticks to either 8, 9, or 10-bit. In my experience, it gives you a nice balance of precise aiming while still maintaining that sticky aim assist feeling. Next up are the button settings, and personally, this is where one of my favorite features is. It's pretty simple. Just click on any button you want to change and remap it to another button. You can even map it to keyboard and mouse inputs if you want. But in my opinion, the best feature in the GameSir app is the ability to map multiple buttons to a single button. If you play FPS games on controller, you know that a lot of games have more actions than there are buttons available, so they use button combinations to make up for it. For example, in Apex Legends, you have to press LB plus RB to use your ultimate. With this feature, I can map that combination to a single button and activate it with just one press. It might not sound like anything groundbreaking, but it's one of those quality of life features that I ended up liking a lot. So the final main feature I want to show is the built-in calibration tool in the GameSir Connect app. If your TMR sticks ever develop any drift issues, or if they happen to come slightly out of calibration from the factory, it's a pretty easy fix. Just go to Button Test in the top right corner, click Calibration, select the stick you want to calibrate, and then follow the instructions on the screen. Once you're done, your sticks will be recalibrated and ready to go. So that pretty much covers all the important features I wanted to talk about. Now let's move on to some gameplay. I don't have a hand cam, so I'll throw a gamepad overlay on the screen instead. After that, I'll come back and share my overall thoughts on the GameSir G7 Pro 8K.
Help.
So there you have it. I actually had more gameplay recorded, but unfortunately the footage got corrupted, so that's my bad. As for what I think about the controller, I think it's a great controller and, in my opinion, it probably has the best software I've seen on any third-party controller. As for the 8K polling rate, it could be placebo, but the controller definitely felt super responsive while gaming. That being said, personally, I don't think this controller is for me. Don't get me wrong, the G7 Pro 8K is genuinely an amazing controller, but it just doesn't quite click with me. A big part of that is probably because I've been using FlyDiggy Vader controllers almost exclusively for the past 2 years. For me, the stick tension on the GameSir is a little too stiff, and another thing is that it only has 2 back buttons. On the Vader controllers, I actually use all 4 back buttons regularly, so losing those extra inputs is something I definitely notice. I want to make it clear that this is just my personal preference. This is not a bad controller. In fact, if you're thinking about buying the GameSir G7 Pro 8K, I don't think you'll regret your purchase. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. And since you're already down there, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button.